Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
It's all about humanity.
It will be Saturday, March 4th, the 11th annual Rotary Central Health Check, the almost island-wide Rotary Health Screening. See us at Foster's Republic's West Bay, cost you less at Governors Square, West Bay Road, A.L. Thompson's Georgetown, Foster's at Countryside in Savannah, Bordentown, from 10 a.m. through 2 p.m. Take advantage of a free mini-medical, a physician's check on your blood pressure, your A1C, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your healthy weight evaluation, and more. The 11th Annual Rotary Central Health Check in conjunction with the Health Services Authority. Saturday, March 4. Save this date that could save your life. Rotary, all the good you imagine.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks very, very much for joining us on another wonderful Wednesday's edition of Talk Today as we get a chance to share with the Cayman Arts Festival. At 1 p.m. I've got something to share coming up with education. Then 2 o'clock, let's get a Cocoa Fest on. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to the Marias for helping us to continue not only to promote the Cayman Arts Festival, but to showcase the wonderful talent that we have in our shows, but to visit us, Marias. Good afternoon to you. Thanks again.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting us again. It's the third time here in about a month. I told you we need to have our own show.
I keep offering you, here, take this one. I want to go fishing.
I'll try one day. One day we can try something.
Next Wednesday is good. I'll be off. You can have it then next Wednesday.
No, I'm off too. It's Ash Wednesday.
Is it? Okay. I was that close.
Yes. Thank you again. We have today, if the first 2 weeks we had performers from New York, now we have performers from UK. And the first one that is here, it's Alexandra Whittingham. She will have recital on, actually tomorrow, at Kamana Bay Cinema. Luckily for us, the event is sold out, but we will focus on something else today. We'll talk more about education, about how she became, in a short amount of time, so followed on social media, and she will give us more tips on how you can play guitar.
So what I'm hearing you say is by the end of this program, I'll actually be on the company.
You might try to find one of the chords, the right one.
I can find them. I just don't know where to put them. That's that one there. It's like, find X. It's right there. See, X is right there. But before we ask Ms. Gemma to come into discussion, it's a pleasure. Welcome. I know you're in excellent company, with Marius and everybody. Thank you for choosing to join us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll get into it, not just music and being accomplished at what you do, but what it can, in relation to inspiring others. Now, Ms. Gemma McLaughlin, you've been on the world stage many times, and you see the importance of not just celebrating and showcasing, but inspiring and nurturing and giving people access, whether it's through funding, sometimes just through applause. So, as the marketing manager of RBC Royal, the Cayman Arts Festival, a good fit for your organization?
Definitely. Thank you for having me, Dwayne. It's a pleasure. Sterling, what are we going with today, Sterling or Dwayne?
Well, like I told my friend yesterday, do you want me to be Jorge or Miguel?
Well, I'm going to just make a choice.
You choose one.
An educated choice. But so, like you said, this is a phenomenal program. I had a chance to, get involved with this program many, many years ago, wearing a different hat. But fantastic program. They educate, inspire, and for me, like you say, coming from the world stage, coming from showcasing and these things, I just think sometimes the arts are not, celebrated enough, especially in Cayman, and an organization like, these guys at Cayman Islands Art Festival do so much, and we're just really happy and proud to be a sponsor of this event. And Marius and I was talking earlier, and many more things that we're going to be getting involved with the Cayman Islands Arts Festival. I applaud you for everything you do and continue to do in the community. And so.
Indeed. And Alexander, if I may ask, Marius said at the outset, how you became like a royal phenomenon, just overnight almost, right? But it's not just that. If, for me, and I love guitar, I think, almost any instrument is amazing if it's in the hands of a true master, someone who has the passion but is accomplished. For you, has it been always, well, tell us about the instrument first, so that, and all the others you play, but your instrument of choice.
For me, it was always the guitar, I think. So my dad plays guitar. He played guitar a lot when I was younger, just not professionally or anything, just very, very, it was a hobbyist, but it meant that there were always guitars lying around the house because, as I'm sure we all know, you can never have too many guitars. So they were on every wall, in every room, just everywhere. So I would just pick them up and we'd play together. And I say play together, I would make some sort of noise and it would sound awful and he would be playing at the side of me. And it very quickly kind of turned to something that I just realised I absolutely loved to do. And I actually started out by writing my own songs. I would sing, not very well at all, but and then it kind of went from there, really. And later on, I decided that I wanted to focus more on sort of classical Spanish guitar. And that's where that kind of just took off and very quickly became what I wanted to do forever.
Just listening to your story, I realized we have so much in common. The long hair, like both our fathers love the guitar's Elena. But I see there's a disconnect. You somehow managed to pick it up and become good. I'm still struggling to find out how the two hands interact. So is it then that the ability, is it innate, is it instruction and nurturing? I could hold a bar chord. And I've said this to Marius many times, but my right hand must be on somebody else's body because it's not connecting to the left hand with the strumming and with the melody and...
Yeah, I think the one word is perseverance, to be honest, and patience, all the P's. Just because I remember when I first started to have formal training, how frustrating it could be at first, and how many times I would just want to throw my guitar out the window and never see it again. And then the next day I'd wake up and I'd go, oh, I want to play guitar now. So it very, very quickly changes. And I think if you just persevere and actually put the hours in, because it's such hard work at the beginning and actually all the time, just sort of keeping it up. So I think if you persevere through that, it is 100% worth it.
And I just want to say, you say perseverance, but I think the love, I think that is where, when you really love something, no matter how hard it is, you just stay at it, right? Most of the time. A lot of us do. Yeah. Some of us lose the hope But when you love something and you practice and you really are passionate about it, you know,
yeah,
I think that always helps the dream
definitely
come to reality.
If I didn't
like
love
it, you'd
the
be like,
instrument, I would have given up a long time ago.
Exactly.
Because it's one thing being able to play the instrument, and it's another thing turning it into a career.
Right.
Because as much as it's getting better now, at music college, it's very, very, very focused on spending sort of 8 hours a day in a practice room, and that's it. Whereas to make a career out of music, you have to be your own booking agent, manager, accountant, social media manager, PA, you know, like you have literally everything. And then at the end of the day, you have to have time to practice. And more often than not, it kind of gets left to the last minute because everything else is just completely needs your time there and then.
Yep.
There's a business side of it. That
completely.
needs,
Very, very, very much a business side of it, which is very much, I think, underestimated at the beginning. And it's great I try my best to stay on top of it, but it takes a lot of sort of trial and error and making sure that you're good at time management when, you know, it's literally can be sort of 10 p.m. in the evening, you haven't practiced, you have to have that motivation to be like, okay, I need to do some today, just so I've at least done a little bit. So, yeah, it's great. It's like the best career in the world, and I wouldn't change it for anything, but it can be pretty difficult at times, like anything.
I mean, my musician friends never go to work, they always have a gig. Marius?
Yeah, you might focus only on that gig, but actually behind that gig, it's a lot of work. This is what she said. So you are your own social media manager, or you have somebody that is helping
everything.
you?
Yeah, it's.
And here's where thinking you had a whole team of.
Why I'm asking this? This morning, she posted something and tagged Cayman Arts Festival on the beach and so on. Really nice. It's exactly what Tom Poyen, Department of Tourists, told me, that when somebody is coming here, tell them to put something about Cayman, so you will see what happened. In 10 minutes, because I had to turn off the notifications because I was not able to. It was like every second. So in 10 minutes, 80, 100 people like what she posted, and I'm afraid to check now. But when you have more than 100,000 people, 200 people following you on YouTube or on Instagram or on Facebook, this is what happened. And actually, that will benefit us also and Cayman Islands overall.
All right. Well, when we come back from this break, I want to talk more, from Gemma's perspective, the need for continued partnership, whether it's through funding or putting space or even accommodation. And Alexandra, the idea of a guitar, well, some things I'll ask. We'll see. All right, join us after the break.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Apply today to the Walker Scholarship and Legal Training Program. You will join the Walker Scholarship and Legal Training Program, knowing that you will be offered more, both throughout your time in the program and after qualifying as a Cayman Islands attorney at law. Preparing Caymanians for a career of excellence through mentorship, opportunities, repetition, and experience. Be sure to have your application submitted by 20th of February 2023. Visit the careers section at walkersglobal.com to find out more about Walker's Cayman legal scholarships, articles of clerkship, qualifying work experience, and legal internships.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Grand Cayman, the sponsor you've been waiting for is almost here. Cayman Airways, the Ministry of Tourism, Palmyra Development, and Tortuga presents 3-time Grammy Award winner Gramps Morgan. Gramps Morgan.
What I'm feeling. Hey, Gramps Morgan here, telling you about my appearance. Man, listen, man, we're moving from the Mango Tree to the Lion Center. Seeing February 18, 8 o'clock. So we're moving from February 11th to the 18th. The date has been pushed back 1 week because the ticket sales have been overwhelmed. I'm excited to see most of you guys. New date, get your tickets now. Gramps Morgan live, February 18, Cayman Islands. Gramps Morgan. Blessings.
Tickets are $45 pre-sold. VIP tables available. Get online at CaymanEvents.co or at Mango Tree. Part of the proceeds to Meals on Wheels. Gramps Morgan.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you very, very much for joining us in the studio. I have Marius as usual, officially titled the Executive Director for the Cayman Arts Festival. But I think as Glenn refers to as Chief Cook and Bottle Washer, huh?
You do it all. Co-founder and artistic director. Myself, I'm executive director. I mean, the one that is in the trenches.
No, man, it's the good work. And as Gemma McLaughlin, the marketing manager of RBC Royal, the idea that you can sponsor, support, help to provide the sufficient avenue sometimes and even access for many of our artists to be able to get on the world stage, start somewhere, and for the world stage to come to us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, RBC is always committed to the community and doing things within the community. I mean, we have our core pillars, right? Mm-hmm. Youth, education, and even the environment, sustainability. Like, these are huge, major pillars for us. So we come in every year with a sponsorship budget, and we say, okay, what do we really want to invest in this year? Mm-hmm. And immediately, I mean, like I said, wearing my previous hat, I had the opportunity to work with the Cayman Islands Arts Festival. But now in this role, we took a look at it and we were like, wow. Like, if you just look at their website and how many people, like how many kids they inspire and they motivate and they elevate to want to do music, because a lot of them are scared. They're like, well, this can't pay me, and they're told as well. And I think it goes back to what you said earlier, Dwayne, about nurturing, because if we nurture talent and we really take it on and we invest in that person, then, we're looking at some really amazing artists, which goes back to what Maris is saying earlier. Like, this opportunity, the Cayman Islands Arts Fest is a place for these emerging artists that today we can afford and tomorrow we will not be able to.
The partnership that we have with the RBC in the entertainment side, let's say, because I will say a few things about the educational side. In the entertainment side, we always bring the artist that is coming and is sponsored by RBC, Royal Bank, RBC Dominion Securities, has a certain particular, touch, let's say. They are blossoming artists. They are emerging artists. We had here Joy Alexander performing 3 days before coming to Cayman at the Grammys. We had Sheku Kanek Mason performing here, and in 3 months performing at the Royal Wedding. We had Andrei Onitsa here, winner of Tchaikovsky Festival. All of them, they came through the connection with RBC. They sponsored those events. You cannot afford those artists now to bring them back at the same price that we brought them some years ago. We hope that we can afford Alexandra another time. Now we know. I have her phone number. I can call her. we deal different, but keeping serious the discussion. It's a way of doing entertainment and focusing, because it's a combination. Now I move slowly to the educational side. We started our after-school program with funds from RBC. So what we've done, what we reached today, the foundation was built with RBC support. And that's huge. That's huge. Thank you so much.
No, definitely, and I just want to say as well. I mean, you know, this is one aspect of what they do, but the other amazing aspect, which is really great for our students, is their after school program as well. And I think I have to add that, you know, because it's such a phenomenal program where so many kids get the exposure to music and through your work and efforts, and hopefully RBC will be joining you as a donor of that and a sponsor of that as well, because I think it's incredibly important.
Well, Alexander, from that, I mean, as I listen, it's important that we provide that, and you spoke earlier to that, the influence of a parent, but there's some relation between a father and a daughter, and we tend to gravitate one to the other. For you though, is it, as you talked about, the passion, the practice, the whole idea of being prepared and persevering? Is it then that you have to have those, but also an ability?
To be honest, I'm not too sure. I'm still kind of. That's not a question. I don't know whether I'll ever be able to answer that question, to be honest, and it's a really good and interesting question. But I think everybody's so different when it comes to that. I mean, like you talked before about nurturing. I was so lucky to have such a supportive upbringing when it came to music. My family they just allowed me to go to different classes and experience different things, and and I was just incredibly lucky and supported when it came to that. And I'm not from a very affluent area. My background was very working class. My primary school, so like the school I went to when I was really little, had very little money, but they did still have a music program. And I think, like we were discussing, it's so important that these things are invested in, because if that hadn't been the case, then, that at that early age, maybe I wouldn't be doing music today.
I'm really glad you shared.
I have a question for her, sorry. I just want to add, our after-school program, it's in 2 sentences. We provide for students tuition for free, and we give them instruments for free. Wow. How it is in UK? From what you know.
From what I know, from when I was younger, there were sort of, I think potentially there were things like that. There were programs like that, but they were gotten rid of quite recently, actually. I think maybe 5 years ago. I mean, I'm not talking from, I'm not 100% sure, but there was a lot of things in the news maybe 5-6 years ago where there were a lot of cuts to spending from the government, and it was music and arts that were completely cut. Typically. Yeah. And that's only now with the work of people, like Sheku, for instance, who performed at the festival. He has been very, very forward with going to schools and making things happen and making sure. And I think that's fantastic, and definitely something I'd love to be part of going forward. But I think, it's definitely being spoken about more, and the more conversations that I had about it, the better. So it's great that that is the case with the after school clubs. That's fantastic.
And I appreciate that, because I think we as the public, from the parent to the politician, from the principal at the school to just that person who may not appreciate generally how important the arts, the performing arts, being able to maybe engage in a different language, play an instrument. Those are the things that tend to get cut from, your personal budget. You can afford to send a child to music tuition, or even a government's budget when they're deciding between healthcare, roads, and these things. What is it then that we ignore, as you just shared? It isn't the innate ability alone; it's the ability to be nurtured, encouraged, and who knows the greatness that lies within. If it's okay, I did a quick sort of review of female guitarists. There are a few, but not as many as men.
No.
Right? And I thought it just shows you what we can have if someone given opportunity. Were there any particular inspirations? And I said I shared it in, I remember 1982, I was in Mexico, and there's this elderly gentleman on stage playing. Don't know if I remember his name. His face was, leathery, weathered. His hands were, despite their dexterity, you could see they've seen the years. And that guitar did everything. I've never seen it played before, not even when I said Santana. Have there been those who influenced and inspired you?
Definitely, yeah. To be honest, I think the biggest inspiration, I know this might sound cheesy, but it's 100% true. The biggest inspiration for me was seeing my peers when I was at music college because they were better than me. And I thought at first it feels so intimidating and so like, how am I going to survive this place? I'm gonna, it was just imposter syndrome 100%. And by the end of it, I realized how valuable that was to me, because I was completely a little fish in a big pond. And I think you need to feel like other people, because there are always people, there's always somebody who's going to be better than you at something. I mean, it's a fact. And from then on, because music college is such a strange environment, like any university, you're studying something so intently and so meticulously. And I think that just taught me, to be honest, that I'm not trying to be the best guitarist out there. That is not, because I think I would not enjoy trying to achieve that at all, and probably never achieve it. But I think what now is the thing that I'm sort of striving towards is just being the best that I can be. And I think that's what that's where the importance lies with teaching children as well, and also encouraging them to think outside the box and to think that, okay, I can have a career in the arts, because it's still joked about, it's still looked down upon, and it's always one of those things that I think it always will be to some extent. But then again, when things like COVID happen, where we're all stuck indoors and the only things we've got to do are, listen to music or read books or watch films, then we're all relying on the arts, like completely 100%. Wow. So yeah, I think it takes, maybe not certain things like that, but it takes certain extremes to be able to go, actually, this is really, really important.
The realization sometimes. Okay, so right after this short break, we'll come back, we'll conclude the discussion. Even though there are still things on the menu, Marius will tell us some more. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Coming in hot. Coming in hot for the Red Dot Sale, only at Reflections. Clearance sale on men's and women's shoes. Nike, Reebok, Adidas, Puma, Dockers, and more. Limited styles available. Get yours before they're gone. Spot the Red Dot on any tagged item and receive up to 50% off. Ladies, save up to 50% off on clothing. Just in time to find your perfect Valentine's outfit or Valentine's gift with lingerie and personal massages at 10% off. Save on dresses, blouses, pants, and find even greater savings in our clearance baskets. Men, spot the Red Dot on any tagged item and receive up to 50% off on brands like US Polo, Dockers, and 20% off on all gym apparel. Levi jeans starting at $34. There is something for everyone. Reflections Clothing Store located on Cheddar Road beside the Mango Tree across from Kirk Napa. Open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 9 to 9 p.m.
Add another 10% off at the Red Dot Sale this week only at Reflections. Sale ends Saturday, February 18th.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Cayman, it's almost here. The return of the Cayman Islands Agriculture Show, 54 years strong, on Ash Wednesday. That's February 22nd. Get your raffle tickets to win $20,000. Visit them on Facebook or go to CaymanAgriculture.com. 12:47 is our time check. This time check brought to you by Barry's Golden Jerk.
Barry's Golden Jerk, the Cayman Brac sensation, ranked the #1 restaurant in Cayman Brac by TripAdvisor and home of the authentic jerk. Barry's Golden Jerk, serving large portions of the best jerk chicken and pork. Open Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday near the airport, or call 917-6713. Barry's Golden Jerk. It's simply better.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And This is the love and the laughter we have every day here on Talk Today. We got Marius, thanks for coming in. And the Cayman Arts Festival, I think, is growing. Hopefully we'll get a space and a place where, there's an instrument in every hand, and every hand is an instrument, right? And together, with the marketing manager over at RBC, Royal, Ms. Gemma McLaughlin, I think of all people, as you shared earlier, the idea that we bring to the table their time, their talent, and their treasure. And if we can have the corporate from the, sort of concerted effort through funding, but through hands, we can make a difference in the lives of our community.
Definitely, 100%. I mean, as I was just explaining to you earlier, I was Nasaria Sekou was my drama teacher, and I loved arts. The arts was my thing, and I wanted to go and study the arts. And at that point in my life, they were like, "Nope, sorry, we're not going to give you your scholarship to study arts." Mm-hmm. Now I think they do. I mean, I have friends of mine that are over in London studying arts and doing really well. You know what? I can't remember her name right off the top of my head right now, but you have it's so important, because kids just think they have to be a lawyer or a doctor, or they have to be trained in a certain way and go work in a bank. Sorry, RBC is a bank and everything, but I'm on the creative side of the bank, and I did marketing because that was the closest thing to the arts, right? Yeah. So I was able to say, all right. But I mean, I think we definitely have to invest in the arts, and particularly this program. And you're lucky, Marius, because I have a real passion for it. Yeah. So
it's that good to know. I know where to knock the door. I know where to go now.
If I may, though, because I think part of what this opportunity for me is not just to showcase, highlight the artists to come, the wonderful program that's been offered through CF and all the partnerships, but for us as the wider community to understand the importance of it, not only going to the venues, but see what it can. Alexander, if I may ask two things of you immediately. One, do you see yourself as a guitarist? Do you sign a label? If not that, what? Right, when you describe yourself,
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say yes. I do see myself I do kind of. I would describe what I do as a guitarist, but I have actually been thinking more and more about that question recently, because, as I was saying before, being a musician is probably more so everything else, and the whole business side of things, and the whole logistics and managing yourself, and then the playing guitar ends up being the sort of the small aspect that you have to kind of, it's like this little delicate thing that's in a bubble, which is you playing guitar, and you have to keep going back to it and practicing and practicing and practicing, but then everything else around it is just work with just everything else. But recently I've actually started to erase the classical before guitarist. So on my website it doesn't say classical guitarist, on my Instagram it doesn't say classical guitarist, just says guitarist, because I'm trying to, I think the word classical can sometimes intimidate people.
It creates a connotation, I think. It may, then the second thing I want to ask, to Gemma's point, sometimes we look at things and we become singularly focused, right? You were sharing that you have to practice, you have to do all the other things in the music college. It is just one thing. You're studying that thing. Is that the approach then to hone the craft and to be singularly focused, or is there life beyond that?
I think it depends on the person. To be honest, I mean, I do know people who are ridiculously good at music and have kind of a career in music, but then also have a completely other life and doing something that isn't related to music, which I just personally I find baffling, because I just don't know how I would be able to create those two different zones inside my own head. I think it's amazing. But some people are able to do that so well, and I admire that. But I think personally the route that I took was very much more put all your eggs in one basket at music college, and you study that and that only to get out of music college. And now, I mean, I graduated just over a year ago from my master's degree, and I'm only now kind of feeling like I've had the space to digest what I learned and sort of think about it in a different way, and the other things other than just classical guitar that I want to do with my career, and different directions I want to go within the arts. And so it takes a while to digest it all, I think.
And that's the beautiful part. Before I come to Marius, many of us, irrespective of what we study, once we come out of university, we have this passion, we're enthusiastic. Sometimes the employers and our parents will probably look at us and go, oh yeah, I believe you can solve the world's problems. If you are able to look back and now we're looking forward 10 years, what would you, that direction you want to go? The classical, I think, is a good move by not having that label. You know, performing with Bill Joel and if the likes of the BB Kings that may be in, what would you do? Where would you want to take that direction?
That's it's still something I'm sort of figuring out, to be honest. But ultimately, since I was younger, I've always wanted to bring the classical guitar out of the little box of the classical guitar. I've always wanted to make it appeal to wider audiences because, I was from the type of background I was from. I hadn't heard of the classical guitar or been to a classical guitar concert until I got into a music school who said, you're now learning classical guitar. And I turned up with my acoustic guitar playing Avril Lavigne songs. So it was very, very a shock to the system. But I think it would just be great for people, and younger people especially, to realise that, actually, this is this instrument that is so underappreciated.
That's it.
And so versatile as well. And I think the fact that the guitar is literally, it's the most widely played instrument in the world, but also the most versatile. And I think I'd just really like to explore that versatility a little bit more.
I commend you for that. And I only ask that, thanks for sharing, in that when I saw this other gentleman play, I'm in Mexico, it's a Spanish guitar, he's doing everything to the audience, and he picked up different guitars. I didn't know what they were, but his ability to make that instrument, it looked like it had a halo on it. Years later, you see other concerts. And it was only until I saw Glenn Ananga take the steel drum and do something with it I've never seen before that made you appreciate that if you are able to embrace the passion of the instrument, take it beyond, its comfort zone, as it were, or the labels that we put it in a box. I saw your piece once. I thought, you may have that. You may just have it. Myers, you have another phenomenon in your hands, man. We have other events coming up, huh?
Yes, before mentioning the events, I want to say that in our after-school program, we have a class of guitar that is run by Nathan Herrera at John Gray High School. After this event, we will plan to expand this. He's not here by accident, so we plan to develop a guitar program in more than one school. So that's something that is coming really handy for us. Events. I know that we sell tickets since December, and some of the events that start coming, they are sold out. We still have a few with some tickets, not that many. Because as soon as one is sold out, then like a domino, they start coming one after another, falling and sold out because everybody's trying to get tickets. The next event that still has tickets, it's Cayman National Choir and Orchestra on Saturday at Harkwell Theatre. Then we have next week a piano recital on 23rd at Anglican Church, St. George's Anglican Church with Peter Donahoe. And then we will finish the festival with a play at Harkwell Theatre, Sold, the story of Mary Prince. There are actors from UK coming here to have that one, and also master classes. That's another thing. We plan to develop a drama program in our after-school program. So we try every artist that is coming here, we have a big story behind of everybody. We try to build up on their inspiration and education and entertainment that they come with.
All right. As we close the discussion, Ms. Gemma, any parting words you want to leave the audience? Maybe encourage other corporate entities to come on board.
Definitely. I'm sitting here, my mind's blown. Like I'm listening to her just talk and about, where you've come from, you've completed your master's and it's all in music and you're learning different, different I guess guitar, classical, and like you said, you showed up and you were, when you first went to college, you were doing something else. Absolutely phenomenal. Like I'm sitting here like, wow. And yeah, definitely. I think that, within the community, if you've most corporate organizations do have a CSR budget and they do have a sponsorship budget, and if you do have any space in it, I'm sure Marius would greatly appreciate some more support for his programs, because I know we are super excited to be working with you on this and the after school program.
Thank you.
And the fact that you just mentioned that you're adding drama, that made me very happy. So congratulations. I just want to say congratulations to you, and good luck. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
And we're definitely proud to be behind this. And thank you for the opportunity, Marius.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
All right. And Ms. Alexander, if you wish to leave a final word to, in particular, to parents, because sometimes we're the ones who encourage the most, but realizing it, we inhibit. What would you say?
Yeah. I just think if you sense that your child has a little bit of an interest for something, just try it out. I think, you'll very, very quickly learn whether they do like it or don't. And if they do, a lot of the time, young people tend to really, really thrive when it's just really encouraged. And there are so many different instruments out there. So, I have friends who played all different kinds of instruments. Some instruments I hadn't even heard of, and they were fantastic at them. So if you don't like the guitar, try something else. You literally just never know. And I think I would have done that. If I didn't like the guitar, I could have been playing the bassoon by now. Who knows? So.
And I just want to say thank you for that advice, because I am a mom of 3. So my youngest is actually 8 now. So I'm thinking, he's at Savannah Primary School. How can I get him involved in some music? Yeah. Maybe he'd like the piano or the drums, or
try things out.
Yeah, definitely. Or the sax,
Yeah. I can see him on the sax.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you for that.
All right. Marius, thank you.
Thank you for inviting us here, and see you on 27th for the next show, when we have here the actors that they come from London.
Yeah, of a drama production. But thanks. And this is what music, Shakespeare says, if music be the food love, play on, So let's make sure that we play together. I'm going to pause and take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion. We're going to have our folks from the Department of Education Services. Schools registration is coming up. Stay tuned. We'll talk today.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Cocoa Fest will take place at Pedro St. James Great Lawn in Savannah on Saturday, February 18th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Additional parking is located at the Savannah Playfield and the rear of the Cayman Islands Baptist Church. The Tourist Attraction Board courtesy bus will run back and forth to these areas to shuttle patrons to the admissions gate. For more information, call 947-3329. In international news, a U.S. man who spent nearly 28 years behind bars for a murder he had always denied committing has had the conviction overturned in Missouri. Lamar Johnson walked out of the St. Louis courtroom a free man after a ruling by Judge David Mason on Tuesday. The judge said he acted after 2 witnesses had provided clear and convincing evidence that Mr. Johnson was innocent. Filming on the Western movie Rust is to resume this spring, according to U.S. reports, with producer Alec Baldwin remaining in the starring role. It comes after Baldwin was charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter over the fatal on-set shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. A mix of new and old crew members will work on the film, with Bianca Klein filling in for the late Ms. Hutchins. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Health Services Authority is now offering online payment options for patients. Patients of HSA can now pay their bills, including deposits, towards scheduled services online at payments.hsa.ky. The secure, new online payment system accepts debit or credit cards and is in addition to the available payment options of cash, check, and online bank transfer. For quick, easy, and secure payment directly from your phone or computer, visit HSA's new online payment system at payments.hsa.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brack, on the 8th day of July, 1936.
Captain Fred Elman Scott was the fifth child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott enjoyed a fulfilling career at sea, spanning more than 50 years. He was ahead of his time, employing his mathematical and computer skills to create payroll software, depth charts of Georgetown Harbor, and his pride and joy was his weather program that could detect when a storm formed anywhere in the world and was able to track and forecast its path. He had 6 children and was married for 52 years to Bernadette Silva, whom he met during his tenure in Brazil. In 1954, when Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II visited, Captain Scott had the distinct honor shaking the Queen's hand and piloting the Royal Yacht Britannia and anchored it in the Georgetown Harbor. Captain Scott was a humble man who liked his khaki suit and cap and loved to share his knowledge with those who crossed his path. He was honored at the National Heroes Day, acknowledging the seafaring heritage of these islands.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. I'm always grateful to be able to remind our public of the wonderful things that we have, but the exceptional, professionalism, commitment, service, and dedication that we have within the civil service, particularly within education. So, Mr. Nikki Samuels, together with Ms. Anola Smith, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having
us.
It's
mid-February, and we always talking about schools registration. We haven't got through the school year, but we got to be thinking forward, right? All right, so, Ms. Nikki, student registration. There was probably a time way back when, we probably could register on the day. You walk into school and my little boy here, he didn't want to go to school, but let me drag him in. And what's the process like now? And is there legal requirements? Because some of us really not quite sure, but maybe we should know.
Yes, there are legal requirements, and as you can appreciate, it's slightly different than what it was before. And the sheer volume of persons on island, is evidenced by our lovely traffic every morning, the people moving around everywhere. But we're coming earlier this year because we're actually opening the registration period earlier this year. Mm-hmm. So registration would normally open in April. We are bringing it back into March. The reason for this is that it allows for the schools to be fully staffed while we're processing these. Mm-hmm. For us this year, you're looking at the 1st of March, you will open our standard registration period, and it will go through to the 31st of May. Mm-hmm. And during this time, all of our applications are online. You don't have to leave your workplace. You can do your applications from your cell phone if you like. It's a quick, maybe 5-10 minute process. You can go online from now to our website, which we'll share shortly, and just have a look at the requirements so that you are prepared. And if anything you need to gather, you can go ahead and do that.
So from the 1st of March to 31st of May. Correct. You said standard registration.
Yeah, our standard registration period. So there's actually 3 periods that we roughly cut them into. So the standard registration period runs from the 1st of March to the 31st of May this year. And then for the month of June, we have our late registration period. These are for persons that have not processed their applications, and it allows us time to clear those applications as well. Mm-hmm. Now, as you can appreciate, the registration process, it takes more than 2 sides, but once it gets to us, there's 2 major players in it. Is the department and also the respective school that your child is going to be attending. Mm-hmm. And of course, you have July and August is your summer holidays. So the month of June now will be our late registration period. anything that we get from the 1st of July through the 6th of August, they will not be processed until the 7th of August.
Very crucial.
Very important information, because what happens is that, as we just explained, is when you don't have we're not fully staffed in the schools in the summer, it delays some of the processes. So that is why we have brought it back a month, to allow for everyone to be in-house when we're talking about our standard registration period, which we hope everybody will take the opportunity to utilize, and our late registration period. And then the summer and the August time is because that is when the staff start to come back into office in the schools.
And then we're talking about registration for all government schools.
All government schools.
Whether it's primary, middle, or high, all government schools.
Correct.
And what age students are we talking about? 5 to 105? I mean, what ages?
You want to take that one on?
Mr. Nola?
Yeah, good afternoon. The mandatory school age is from 5 to 17. You must be 5 by September 1st. Not on September 1st, but 5. So compulsory age begins from age 5 to age 17. We do have reception, but that's just for Caymanian children, and they have to be 4 by September 1st.
Okay.
So you can't be 4 on the 1st or 5 on the 1st. You must be 4 or 5 years old before the 1st of September.
So that child that is 5 on or after September the 1st,
they will register for the
next
year.
Next year.
Yeah.
All right. And then I asked about government schools, because sometimes we listen, we not maybe fully appreciate any private school, their registration process is separate.
It's separate and independent to their institution.
You go to that school in particular and ask them, they'll tell you what their stuff is. But we're talking about government schools on all 3 islands.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. And well, when we see it, and we're looking at the ages as you were sharing about 17, is it then that that's the criteria. You live in a certain place, you want to go to school in another place, how does that work? What if you're, Caymanian or not Caymanian? There's also discussion sometimes being had. Let me make sure I understand them correctly.
Okay, the government schools are divided into 2 hubs. You have the Western hub and you have the Eastern hub. Your school placement, your catchment, because there are how many? 6 catchments?
Yes.
There's about 6 catchments. Your school placement is based on your address. And when we say address, we're talking about your physical address that the child resides at, not a commercial property that parents own, not a rental property that they own and they have tenants. It's where the child resides physically. So it's where the child abodes, and that's where the child lives. That's the address we consider. If once you own the property, we ask for your proof of address or in the documents of your light bill, water bill, your cable bill. And tenants, we expect them to present a lease agreement with the additional property information in terms of a bill, landlord's ID, those kind of things.
Right.
So a child's placement in school is determined by their physical address.
And I appreciate clarifying that, because I'm thinking, I think there's only one government primary school, for instance, in West Bay.
Yes.
One in East End, one in North Side.
Yeah.
So if you live in those districts, but Georgetown, there are more than one. I can count 3.
There's 3.
Right.
There's 3.
And then Savannah, Bordentown, there are 2.
There's 2.
So if you lived, just for instance, you lived in Georgetown, depending on where you lived, you fall within this catchment area. It may be Georgetown Primary, Red Bay Primary, or Prospect Primary.
Correct.
Depending on where you are.
Correct.
Okay.
So Georgetown Primary begins on West Bay Road to Walker's Road after the Couture Street. Couture Street. And then from Couture Street onwards to
what we would say to persons as well, because it's sometimes roads change and you have roads in between. So and then as you know, the roads here, you go down what you think is a straight road, and then all sorts of stuff happens and development. So what we advise persons to do that at this time as well is just pop onto our website, schools.edu.ky. And there is a section there. It's mapped out and it's also in writing to say what your boundaries are, and just have a look at where you are in what school that you're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
and with the high schools, especially those students who live on the border, in the Spots Newlands, just have a look. So you have a clear idea where you can attend school.
And as we talk about, schools registration, just again for our listeners, we're talking about government schools, not the private schools.
Just government schools.
Yes.
And I wouldn't even ask, some of us are choosing to homeschool. That's a separate thing.
Separate
You make
thing.
a separate application. So if you go into one of the government schools, we have a message that came in and wanted to know. I want to ask the question is, how do you know if your child is going to, what age is a primary school? Is this a middle school, high school? What are the ages?
Okay, so we try to put as much information on our site as possible, just in case, and please, when you log on to our site, explore all of the collapsed sections there. It speaks to fees, it speaks to catchments, it speaks to year groups and so on. But generally, it is year 1 for anyone that's 5+ on the 1st of September, year 2 for 6+, and keep going up like that. We do have a lot of queries where we have children that turn 5 within the academic year. We just like to take this opportunity to say that although the students may turn the age within the academic year, we still look, it's almost like a snapshot of time. We look at how old they are on that particular day. How old were they on the 1st of September? And that will determine the year group that they're in.
Okay. And I think this is where it's so crucial that we appreciate it. Now, for government schools, is there qualifying criteria as to who can attend a government school? There was one time, one of the media outlets said, only Caymanians attend government schools. I was limitedly involved, and I go, well, I know that child, I know the family, and they're wonderful people, but they might live in West Bay, but they're not Caymanians. So maybe they're just one-off. So who attends government schools? Is it for anybody, everybody?
No, it's not for any and everyone. One of the first things we look at, besides their catchment, where they're residing and so on, we look at also who is legally responsible for the child and things like that. But we also look at whether the child is resident on island and what that residency is. So if it's a Caymanian child, quote unquote Caymanian child, we need to see that letter from work confirming their acknowledgement or confirmation of Caymanian status. There's also a group for children that are dependents on their parents' permanent residence. That's acceptable as well. And you have dependents of civil servant contracts. And, wherever that they've had notated by work as well, there are some individuals on work permits where the work permit stipulates that they can attend public or any local school. If it says that, we can consider an application.
Maybe it's a work matter, but what would sort of trigger that sort of condition? So this is a person on a work permit, and their work permit from work says, if your child wants to go to public or private school, it can. How does that come into play?
That is with work. We don't.
That is with work.
Okay.
That's outside of our remit. But once, because work is responsible for regulating, even us on island, they're regulating. So once that they've done that and they've said the child can attend either, because sometimes it comes back, they present work permits and it says it's for private school, but also going back to the confirmation that the person is legally resident on island, where the work permit has to be valid. And it has to be valid to the beginning into the beginning of the academic year. So if you have all of the stipulations in place where the child is added as a dependent on your work permit, there you can attend any local school, but your permit expires on July 1st. We cannot process an application until you present something to us to show that valid for the academic year, because as you know, we don't have a control on the outcome of it.
Right. So it has to be current.
Has to be current for us, please.
With respect to the catchment areas, if we may ask, we know that some of us, we either live with one parent or the other, or we may live with a grandparent. It may be most of the time, all the time. There are different dynamics. Mr. Nolo?
Okay, what we do, we we require parents or grandparents to provide us with a statement or a court order, saying that they have physical responsibility for this child. We would like that to be legal in terms of it's notarized, just to also to protect the whole process, and so we're not accused of being underhanded with our application process. So we've had cases where children are with grandparents legally through the courts, and we get those documents. And we have cases where parents, due to financial situations, they got to go back home and live with their parents, or they leave a child with their parents. We have those. And we have cases where children are co-parent, but we stipulate that one address is what. So the parents have to decide who is I don't want to use the word controlling parent, but
who decides to take
who decides So because it is tricky, and due to with COVID, things have gotten a little
interesting.
Family dynamics have changed a whole lot, and you have to appreciate that we've had some challenging situations that we really had to look at each case by case and make decisions as a group. It's not one person making the decision. We have a team that actually works together in those special circumstances.
Now, I know that many times we talk about fees, and I'll leave that to you to decide, but hopefully people would appreciate that as part of your initiative, you want not only to open the registration period early and give people more time to facilitate, but impress upon us, don't wait for the last minute. It's already exciting enough for that first time child into school. But what about the continuing child? So the child's going to leave, say, primary, now going to high school, or going from 1 year in that school to another year in the same school. Is this registration process for it at all?
No, this registration process is for those that are new to our system. So those are standard registration forms. So these are children that are first time into our system, no matter what year group they're coming into. Or we have some students that are being readmitted because they have gone to another school for a period of time, or parents have left the island for a period of time, and they're coming back and matriculating back into the school. That again is a readmittance, and they fill out the standard registration form. If you are transferring the transfer form is from one government school to another. So in some situations, we appreciate that there are some financial difficulties and so on that are still happening. And parents, sometimes it's a rush situation where they find themselves that they are moving into another residence, and that's when you're looking at a transfer, or other things happen that we work with our child protection liaison officer. We work with her, but for the most part, that's the situation for those. If you are currently in school and you're just moving along within your school, so if we take Northside Edna Primary and you're in reception and you're moving up to year 1 or year 2, that is hosted by the school itself. There's no involvement by the department. And each school does their very exciting moving up day where the kids get an experience in the new classroom in the year above. For those students that are moving from year 6 in a primary school to year 7, we actually have already started working with those students. We started that in January. So we are because those are students that we settled before we open a registration process. And we are processing those right now. And again, there's always some sort of movement and things like that, because our society is very fluid. So we're processing those, and because then it's taken on by the respective high school for continuing of communication to them.
All right. And then again, that is just making sure that I understand, hopefully as well. Moving within the school takes care of that. But if you're transferring from one school, say you were living in one district and you're physically going to be moving to another district, and you could probably stay within the same sort of, is that transfer still part of this registration? You're in the system already.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So an important dates for us as well is for transfer, the movements for this academic year, the 22-23 academic year, closes on the 28th of this month. because when we open for the new registration period, there's no more movement for this
Okay.
academic year.
So if you think, okay.
Yes, so we do have families that move. If you're moving within, let's take West Bay. If you're moving within one area in West Bay to another, it's only the one school.
Right.
And then, of course, if you're moving from West Bay to North Side,
Yeah. Moving up the
there's
world.
there's other things to consider as well, you know.
Right.
And then, you know, because movement at the end of the year becomes very tricky for schools. It is a very difficult time, unless it is something that is presents as an extraordinary circumstance and a hardship. Then it's looked at.
And then hopefully our friends and families in the BRAC will recognize that this applies to them as well. You know, so the registration is there. Sometimes we talk over here, and you know, we may not appreciate that, you know, they include it. So this is for all government schools in all 3 islands as part of the process.
And we have an amazing colleague in the
I
BRAC.
was just going to call his name, Ricardo. Ricardo's on everything over at the BRAC.
Yeah, so we're always we're sharing the same program. We're on the same groups and so on. Just make everybody's on the same page, so that if Ricardo can actually answer a question from someone living in town. If they have a question, Ricardo will be able to give them some feedback, and vice versa for us in the back. Because we are a small team, we make sure that everyone is aware, can communicate easily, hopefully, and get the information to you.
Yeah. Well, I've had that experience, so you guys do great.
Thank you.
What about fees? I got a couple of, I asked about it earlier, and a couple of messages come in. Well, is there a cost? You know, what are fees for
registration?
For registration, and then under like.
There's no fee for registration. School registration is
application fee.
Application fee.
Yeah.
There's none.
Okay.
It's a free process. There are
tuition fees
for non-Caymanians.
Okay. And then does that tuition fee apply to dependents of Caymanians from the residents? Dependents on government contracts?
So those that are categorized as, that's why it's important for us to have that letter from work to say that this person is a person who is acknowledged or confirmed as a person.
Caymanian.
Right. So then once we have that letter, then those persons don't attract to tuition fee. If you are dependent of someone on permanent residence or the work permit or a government contracted officer, then you will receive invoices for tuition. They are amazing fees in that for if the fee is termly, so there's 3 invoices you would get for the each academic year. For the primary years, it's $250 a term. That's
someone spend more lunch a day.
And then for the years 7 to 9, it's $300 a term, and for years 10 to 12, it's $400 a term. And if you balance that out with the amount of intervention and support and an incredible education that you receive within our government school systems, it is really a token for what we receive.
Yep. Well, I'll be mindful that I don't say it in a way that, you know, intended to be a compliment somehow makes people feel offended. But we have a great team, a great system. We just need to increasingly, you know, value and respect it and ensure that it's accessible to us, you know. But in time, I think, in time. This is where, you know, you mentioned Ricardo, but the two you present a wonderful face, that competence and compassion. I love the commitment to this. And, you know, Mr. Nola, you I think have the title as truancy officer as well. And we always have this view of truancy, but you bring to the table the idea that in school, this is where you learn, this is where you develop, you grow, you make your lifelong friends. For someone, punishment was being forced to skip school. So it's good. As we close out the discussion, anything else you want to share, Ms. Nikki, with respect to the registration? I mean, it starts on the 1st of March. It starts on the 1st. That's next week almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're asking persons just to pop onto our website, which is schools.edu.ky. Have a look at the list. The list is very clear. It's 1, 2, 3 on the list. And just have a look at those documents. Make sure you have them together, because what happens is that a couple of people might be missing, say, for example, your immunization record. You might be missing that, and you go and request it from HSA. 1 or 2 persons asking, it's turned around quickly. As the numbers increase, there's delays. So these things will cause delays in completing your application. So we're asking for you to have a look at your requirements so that you can make sure you have them together. share with your friends if you're listening. Put the word out there to please look at. We're expecting a great influx of applications on the 1st. To please put it in on the 1st and not on the 28th, because we are very open and transparent. Every application that we receive is time and date stamped down to the 2nd, and anything received from the 1st is for the 23-24 academic year. Anything before is for the current academic year. So we ask that you be mindful of the time that you submit, depending on the year that you're wanting to register your child. Okay?
Schools.edu.
Schools.edu.ky.
Okay.
Yes.
And other points, Ms. Nola, you want to share?
No, I would just encourage Caymanians to go to work and get their acknowledgement complete for their children. It's very important. I mean, it's not something we all want to do, but it's
But we both did it.
We did, and I mean, it's hard to tell people it, but you got to encourage people to do the right thing by their children. It's not about you; it's about your child. It's part of the requirement, and it takes a little while to get the document from work. So I would encourage people to get on board and do it for all of your kids.
Yeah. The great thing is that we have a team like you guys who help us to navigate the system, and we can appreciate the involved effort. And really, really, really grateful to you. It's interesting times in which we live.
Very interesting. And also to stress that during the peak of the registration, if you don't get us by calling us, to please pop us an email. The email address is right there on the website as well, and it goes to the whole team, so the team will be able to get back to you.
Yeah, this is maybe one time where we would probably appreciate the email, because it's easier not only to track, but you can identify what it is that you need and complete. And if even a phone call, whatever we can help to encourage people, remind them of the registration, please let us know. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nola. Ms. Nikki. So registration starts on the 1st of March, ends on the 31st of May. So get our documents in, and any questions, schools.edu.ky. All right, we're going to pause and take a break. When we come back, got some other things for you. 2 o'clock, Cocoa Fest. Guess what? Maybe there'll be some coconut in the studio. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist, or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure presents Garth Guy. A Garth Brooks and Shania Twain tribute show live from Las Vegas on Friday, February 17th at the Agriculture Fairgrounds for a free show. Gates open at 6 p.m. with DJ Flex, Impulse Band, J.R. Douglas, and Dexter Bodden. Food and drink available on site and a chance to win Cayman Airways tickets. Enjoy a night of Garth Brooks and Shania Twain hits at the Agriculture Fairgrounds. Friday, February 17th. Gates open at 6 p.m. and entry is free. Brought to you by the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure, Cayman Airways, Cayman Distributors, Coca-Cola, and Radio Cayman.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from February 13th to 18th at his Crew Road Clinic. Clinic appointment slots are limited, whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles. Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
Water Authority Cayman would like to advise customers in the Cayman Kai area of a planned service interruption that will take place in order to facilitate ongoing infrastructure upgrade works in the area. Preliminary works will begin on Thursday, 9th February from 10 p.m. Customers will experience service interruptions on weekdays between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. on Friday, 10th February to Friday, 17th February. The service interruption will impact customers on the following roads: Water Key Road, Finger Key Road, Camp Drive, and Kaibo Crescent. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience these works may cause and thanks the public for their patience and understanding.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Be able to be a part of our discussion. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. It's an open line until 2 p.m. Maybe we get a treat. One of our colleagues, Doc, is bringing Gramps Morgan into the fray. We'll see what happens today. But in the meantime, share your thoughts with us if you so choose. A lot of discussions have been had. I'm very grateful, at least from my perspective, the edification and information, the education and information that, being shared to instruct us, make us consciously aware. Many of you have been talking about the port for a while, and now that that's going to be discussed again, cargo or cruise, it's in the public domain. Let's take this call. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. How about yourself?
I can't complain, and I'm giving God thanks too.
Amen, brother. Amen.
All right. I was speaking to OC some days ago regarding the situation on the Bracken with this new police officer that they sent to the Bracken with this police motorcycle. And I really and truly, I don't know what they expect to do, Cayman Brac. This little island, we don't expect to go through the stuff that we go through. And to see that such a person as a police officer is so disrespectful in how he conducts himself on the street with this motorcycle is outright disgrace, knowing that I told him to his face, knowing that he's a police officer and how he conducting himself. But I'm not going to hark on that too much today, Sterling, because I got to say, like what the old man had said, I need to go up on the ladder, take down my blood pressure, and try to come back down with it. So I got to come off of that a little bit. Anyway, I put in a complete report against that situation, so that hopefully that'll be taken care of on that side then. But I hope that nobody else on this island has no issue with this man, because he don't have no manners, no respect. So I hope nobody having a run-in with him. But anyway, what I call for, Sterling, is to say we have the power line company that is putting down these new lines, flow out of flow, or whichever company it is. They're doing an awesome job to the island, but they came to one area up on the bluff, and there's about 12 or more homes up in that eastern area on the bluff there that needs the service of this new telecom phone system that they're putting in, fiber optic or whatever it is. but they came to a stop at a certain point and didn't go no further. And I am understanding that they're not continuing the lines no further up on that end. I on that part, that area, the bluff, a lot of people have problems with getting their internet, television, even phone service is difficult to get up there. They had need to actually put a tower down somewhere on that bluff up there where they could receive, because that's the highest point. It's hard to get service, and to know that the people was excited to know that this new system was coming into the island, such as this fiber optic. We were hoping to get continuing service throughout the entire island, and it come to find out they are stopping at this certain area and moving on further down to the west and around the south. To me, it makes no sense. Why didn't they continue giving the entire island the service and only come to one area? It's kind of baffling to me, and I hope I get more information regarding it that I can bring it back here. But it's something that they should make sure that they continue to give to the people and not take away from the people, because people are paying a lot of money for this internet service, and they're gonna come up short. Some people, that is.
You know, as I listen to you, I'm wondering to what extent, you know, we're, as a populace, becoming actively informed and involved in what's happening with our country. Do you think that we're leaving much of the decision making to the politicians or them, whoever they are, and all of the action, you know, whatever it is that needs to be done to them and whoever they are, as opposed to us saying, well, wait a minute, you know, what's happening? Why is it happening this way? Why is it not happening? Or why is it happening the other way? What do you think is happening?
I wouldn't say that we leave it to the politicians, because if you ask me, the politicians should get involved with it anyhow. If it comes to that point, I think what happens is when these companies come in here in order to put down, especially what they're just doing now, because this is the first start of any addition to the island, and the next one I think is going to be the solar. But for the companies to come in and do this, I think the policies should lay across the board for them that all residents should be able to get this service, not some. And we don't want to use this theory, Sterling. We use one theory on the block here, that how you east of the tamarind tree, which it used to be one big tamarind tree downstate, but anything lies east of that, you didn't get nothing. Anything lies west of that, you get everything. And that Eastern District, we have been neglected for years. And it seems like that is just a trend that follows these companies, whether they're run by the locals or they're either run by foreigners. It doesn't matter who, but it seems like that system can't change for whatever reason. And to me, the whole thing that causes all these issues, Sterling, is when these things come around the island. We don't get no meetings regarding nothing that is being done, that people can be notified of what's going to happen or what they expect. They don't have absolutely nothing. So people around here are just in clue, trying to figure out if they see this group of people coming in the yard chopping trees. Everybody's wondering what in the world is going on. Who is these people chopping down the trees under the pole lines? You understand what I'm saying? So there's nothing. You waking up to something happening outside the yard, but you don't know what's going on. And that is basically what happened on this island. These people are putting in the new lines. They have to cut away the trees, we understand. But a lot of people don't know what is happening. And now that we come to this point of moving through the entire island and leaving out one spot, that does not in my book. It just doesn't make sense.
You know, I was looking at a message as you're talking, and I don't know if your comment inspired or whether this was someone who had initially sent something earlier and just add into it. I was speaking of the utilities, and in particular on Grand Cayman, this is CUC, relative to not safely moving the vegetation, keeping it from the power lines, but really lamenting that the way it's done, it's not properly grooming the trees and the like, or pruning or whatever it is that's written here. I should put my glasses on. But this word is hacking, HACKING. Just hacking and chopping up the trees is how this person has this written. Again, how do we fix that?
Well, honestly, I'll be honest and frank with you. We had an issue like that, similar going off first. And I must admit that these people that come in here, the job looked nasty. But how they start to cut the trees, it looks suitable to me. I'm not saying how it looks to the public, but it looks presentable the way they're cutting the trees to me. I don't see much hacking up. But we had a thing going here some months ago that made the tree, whoever was cutting the trees, that's how that looked. They were hacking the trees up and then leaving it down the side of the road to dry, and then eventually public works will come in and scoop it up, take it to the dump. But these people seem to be doing adequate amount of job, not job work on cutting these trees. That's a lot of work, and they look like they're using proper tools, which is chainsaws. I see them using it, and they don't seem to be doing a bad job. But for them to have that amount of work, yeah, we understand it takes a lot for the amount of people that they're using. It looked like about 8, 9 guys. But it still doesn't justify the reason why they leave a certain area and proceed to go somewhere else to do the further distance. Now, I can understand if they said, we're waiting on a certain giant or something in order to continue going that direction, and then we'll come back. But as far as I'm understanding, that they're not planning to go back there to finish. What is the reason for that? That is what I would like to put out there to the listening public or whoever involved with Flo or whoever to try to send in something and let the people know why did they stop to that point, and are they going to come back in the near future or whatever? Because when this whole system starts running, those people that do online work or whatever work they do is going to be left with how that scrolling system work when you're trying to get information sent fast or try to get information coming in fast. That slow scrolling, that's what will happen to the other ones up east. They got still be to that level. And it makes no sense to the people that are being left out. That should not be.
No, that's I think it comes back to where increasingly we need to be sensitive to what we're doing, where we're doing it, how it's being done, who's doing it, and the like. And sometimes we, the person doing the job, just following orders, we say, or sometimes we're not giving proper instruction to be sensitive to it. But then there are people who are around who could guide but may ignore, or when they come and approach, it isn't always in the most amenable way. It just seems that there's not that growing interest in what we have, huh?
Yeah, it seemed like the momentum that people had once has stalled. It doesn't seem like, when issues arise on this island that causes people to wake up, that is when the people here notices things more than when they leave them and make them sleep. This little island here, we like a sleeping giant. We sleep in until something tickles us and wake us, and then we explode. But why should we have to get to that point, knowing that we are Caymanians and we are friendly, we are willing to accept and work with anyone, but we just have to get to the point of when we are being neglected. That is where we have to put our foot down, and we have to come to a point in time of life, like I told you before. We can't be sitting down listening to this old-time trait that the man had told the other one, if your hand tied, I can chop them loose. We can't sit down and let people tell us that their hands are tied. When we have these kind of issues arising, find a solution. Go to the entity that doing these type of work and find out what is the purpose and say, listen, Simon Brock is being left out. We realize you all did a job here and there, but in certain areas that you didn't cover, can you go back and redo what or complete what you started? And you see, that then is where politicians will come in. But do we want to involve politicians in a certain thing as this, or do we want to take it to the entity that's doing it and get it and say, listen, we cannot sit down and let this happen. We need to get this fixed as soon as and quick as possible. To continue, get you guys to go back and continue what you were doing. Let us try to sit down and figure things out in a nice way, and before we get agitated by stuff like this, because people, like I say, people have to do their jobs. Online and technology has been one of the things that people depend on, and we don't want to leave nobody out. And I think by high time they need to start putting their heads on their bodies and get their work done and do it in a proper and neat fashion that people admire, and people can comment and say they came, they done, and we are happy with it.
Well, as I was listening to you, I'm looking at a comment here from one of our listeners, and you are right, as is the listener. We involve and we should engage and advise our politicians, but at the end of the day, are we either abdicating our own responsibilities and not taking action? Are we, as one of these listeners messaged and said, we're so busy, or is it our impression that this is for what the politicians should be doing? I wonder if we're not sure how to navigate the system, or are we unsure and have misplaced expectations of what the politician should be doing?
Well, if you ask me, Sterling, if we got sit and wait on the politicians to come and help us, we got to be waiting a long time.
Yeah.
I said that boldly. So I think we as the people need to work together, see what's happening, go to the institution or whatever they form under, whether it's government, whether it's private sector, just go to them and say, listen, we saw something that we don't like, and try to get more than one individual to go along. This kind of thing is what drowns us in this country. We have one person that have a good backbone, and the rest just want to chicken out and let one person or two people go and do all the rowing and fighting for them. And this is where the tear down comes down, Sterling.
Exactly.
We have to make sure we stand firm with one another.
That's the thing. I mean, we are willing to benefit from the thing if it's good, but we seem to be quick to distance ourselves. Oh boy, that wasn't me. I wouldn't have done that. We need to move from that, and it's not something that we believe is uniquely applicable to Cayman, but because this is where we live and work, we see it so evident. So maybe you encourage and inspire me, maybe I support and nurture you, and we move hand in hand, man. Anything else you want to share with us, my friend?
No, I'll leave it for another day, or if I get nothing, I'll call you back later or something.
Always a pleasure, man. You always give us insight. Take care, man. Enjoy the afternoon.
Yeah, you too, Bo. You too.
All right, Bo. Let's pause, take that break. When we come back, more discussion. Stay tuned.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day is back! The 54th Annual Agricultural Show at the Stacey Watler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, February 22nd. Raffle tickets are on sale now, and for only $25, you can win $20,000 and so many other prizes. Raffle tickets include general admission to the show. For more information, visit them on Facebook or CaymanAgriculture.com.
J and Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at JN Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any JN Money location and send your money the fast, convenient, and affordable JN Money. JN Money, touching down again. JN Money, ranga to la friend.
Cocoa Fest is back at Pedro St. James, Saturday, the 18th of February. From noon to 6 p.m., enjoy crafts, games, music, coconut-inspired food and treats, health and beauty products, and enjoy local cooks, craftsmen, artisans, and farmers through a shared love of the Cayman coconut. Admission is only $10 for adults and $5 for kids 6 to 12 in age. 6 and under get in free. So go coconuts at Cocoa Fest and enjoy one of Cayman's culture and tradition Saturday, February 18th. For more info, go to info@pedrostjames.ky.
Brought to you by Proven Bank.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And some more open line for this segment as we invite you to call 949-8837 or 949-6990. You can also call us on the WhatsApp. No, you can't. It's 925-3261. But you can call toll free though, 1-800-534-8255. To the last caller and his comments, someone messaged to share. We have within the Constitution the advisory district councils. The person's words were that, one, why advisory? Why shouldn't there be a bit more of an influence in directing? And then secondly, the composition. But I'll speak to that maybe later. Let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, Sterling, again, sorry about that.
No, man. Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
All right. Yeah, I just got confirmation from an employee there that worked for the phone company, cable company, say that they are taking care of that problem, that situation there of the Eastern District on the Bluff. It's just that they are going to take over the balance of the work that was left by this contract company that doing the line running. But they are going to do it and not the other company, which makes it seem like it's just being left and not being done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that at least someone hearing and somebody is listening and willing to come on and say, or call me and say that, something is being taken care of. That is good. That is what we need around here.
See, and I thank you for calling back and sharing that. I'm also grateful that the person here and was immediately responsive. Your comments also inspired someone else to reference, as I was just sharing about the district councils. And I think someone says something, others may agree, or it may spark them to think of something else. Even if we have a difference of opinion, if we're respectful and willing to communicate, interact, and engage, we could probably find ourselves in a better space. Huh? So what you do helps, man.
Yeah, man, and it like I say, they need to start having more public meetings when they're going to do these type of things to let the people be aware of what's happening. That is what we need to start happening around here. We don't need meetings when politics come around.
Yeah.
Or election time come around. We need meetings to and fro all three islands and discussing the things that are happening around here.
Maybe we have the meeting with a particular sort of plan of action, and then we go and we do something, not just talk and then talk again after, but talking about what we should talk about.
Yeah, because we don't want to be like what Dad used to tell me. People all they want to do is go up under the knees territory and bite up their gums.
Yeah, my dad said beat up the gums, huh? But
all right.
Thanks, man.
For someone else. All right, thank you, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. And this is where, as James shares with us, it's important, I think, and increasingly so. We look at our population, and I used to say, a number of years ago that we were approaching 100,000, and many would say, "Oh boy, you being inflammatory, or you being this," and it was just a simple analysis based on the little that you hear from people and taking statistics and making extrapolations. Now we're seeing more and more people are questioning, we just did the census, but are we nearing, that number. Well, the phone lines are open if you want to share a thought. 949-8037. We go up until 2 o'clock, and then after the headlines, we're going to talk to our friends over at the Tourism Attractions Board about upcoming Cocoa Fest. So if you want to share a thought with us until then, hey, give us a shout and share. But to the point that I think, as I looked at it again, was inspired by the caller. The person messages and says, what about the advisory district councils, and why is it advisory? Should it not have, more, be more perfunctory, as it were, be there to tell the politician in our district, here are the things. Now that creates a different discussion. Those who may be more adept at the constitutional nuances would probably say, no, it can't work that way, but why not? And like the discussion increasingly about a national vote, there are those who would share, well, if you do that, then who are you holding accountable? And if this person in this area is elected, then it's more costly, or it may lead to this. But the question is that Cayman has always been different. We don't need to always copy and paste something else that is probably a failed system anywhere. And if we look at it from this perspective, how many times are we here? Well, we can't serve, man and mama, you can't serve two masters. So take those that are in cabinet. They have their constitutional responsibilities as assigned, to them under their respective ministries. Then they have their, constituencies that they have to go and make sure that they pay attention to. Sometimes they may be competing interests just in time and obligations alone, but also, the constituency may need something. If you have a national vote for the premier and the cabinet, or the cabinet, or just the premier, but the notion of being willing to have a discussion, or we're not changing the constitution willy-nilly, nor were we proposing to even change it. It was, as we were told, when the constitution was put in play, and it wasn't yesterday, it's been there for a long time. Some of us not even sure we can remember when the new constitution came in. It was told during the discussion it was a living, breathing document to be, revisited every 5 years. Not to change, but to look at it. We've already had significant changes in our constitution already. Its presentation would be, they were not significant because they didn't have to go back to the vote. But they've been significant. And in the document, it is said, well, if we can agree amongst ourselves as, premier and opposition and all the like, to make these little changes, no big deal, then we can do that. Well, maybe it is a big deal. And maybe it's a big deal because as a populace we're not involved. And maybe that's the challenge. We need to. That discussion, though, hopefully will unfold again with more informed individuals engaging to give us a better perspective. But let's pause and go to our headline news. And when we come back, we invite you to rejoin us for another discussion. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman. We've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Their Royal Highnesses the Earl and Countess of Wessex will visit the Cayman Islands from Monday to Wednesday, February 20th to the 22nd. The visit is an opportunity to celebrate the linkages between the Cayman Islands and the United Kingdom while showcasing our country. In international news, Antarctic glaciers may be more sensitive to changes in sea temperature than was thought, new research shows. The British Antarctic Survey and the U.S. Antarctic Program put sensors and an underwater robot beneath the vast Thwaites Glacier to study melting. The size of Britain, Thwaites is one of the world's fastest changing glaciers. Its susceptibility to climate change is a major concern to scientists because if it melted completely, it would raise global sea levels by 0.5 meter. One of the 12 boys who was rescued from a Thai cave in 2018 has died in the UK. The 17-year-old was found unconscious in his dorm in Leicestershire on Sunday and taken to hospital where he died on Tuesday. He was captain of the Thai boys football team, which was trapped deep inside a cave for over 2 weeks. It is not known how the teenager died, but Leicestershire police said his death is not being treated as suspicious. Reports in Thailand said he suffered a head injury. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Between the traffic, the meetings, kids' activities, there just isn't enough time. Best Health Pharmacy was a game changer. Not only are they centrally located on Eastern Avenue, but they deliver prescriptions for free anywhere in Georgetown and West Bay. I could not believe it. When my prescription ran out, they ran it back to me. Best Health Pharmacy, located at Crown Square Plaza on Eastern Avenue, across from Edie's Decor, offering free prescription delivery anywhere in Georgetown and West Bay. Call 949-1301 or WhatsApp your prescription to 924-5358. Best Health Pharmacy. Your health, your convenience is their priority.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. And as we referenced at the outset, we were closing the show today. The discussion to invite everyone to Cocoa Fest. We had asked, for samplings of, coconuts to be brought to the studio with the water and all the different things. But guess what? You have to wait until Saturday to get that. Well, we're going to go around the table, and as we have everybody settled and assembled and excitedly, and ready for Cocoa Fest. Mr. Patrick, last time you were here, we had an engaging discussion. Welcome back again. Would you though, maybe set the stage, I'll ask you, perhaps Mr. Linville has been there before, but you set it up, introduce everybody, introduce yourself. We'll focus on, Ms. Adrian and of course Ms. Rena, but let's start with you first, man.
Good afternoon, Sterling. Thank you again for having us. And of course, my name is Patrick Thompson, the Director of the Tourism Attraction Board. And we're here this afternoon to promote Cocoa Fest. It's just such a wonderful event. And we can't wait for Saturday for everybody to come out and drink lots of coconut water for sure. But there will be so many different coconut products. And I have in studio with me, I'm taking your role now.
No, would you please? I mean, who better to introduce Ms. Adrian than you?
Definitely. They would normally say ladies first. Well, I'm going to go with ladies first and I'm save the good gentleman here for last this time around. And to my immediate left, we have Ms. Adriana Turner. She's one of the officers out there at the Peter St. James site. Has been with us for a long time and a great servant to Peter St. James. And also we have a brand new servant to Peter St. James in Miss Renda Cornwall, and we're so delighted that she has joined us, and she's here today to make sure the word gets out about Cocoa Fest. Miss Adriana has the details, but I'm sure Miss Cornwall has a little flair and fling that she's going to add to this just to make it all spicy for people to show up. But how could I? Well, I haven't forgotten Mr. Linville Johnson. He is here, and I'm so excited. Fidelity has now changed their name to Proven Bank, and yes. My God, it seems like they have already proven it to Cocoa Fest and Peter St. James, because they're on board with us for, I think this is the 5th or 6th year, and they have been our major sponsor. And I'm telling you, when you're looking for banks to sponsor you, that's like a big deal, and it's very difficult. But Proven stepped in. And they have indeed proven themselves. Right. So, Mr. Linville, thank you again on behalf of the Tourism Attraction Board and Peter St. James, for your commitment and dedication to the community, because this is a community event, and because of you and your bank, you make it happen. So, Sterling.
No, Patrick, thank you very much, man. And before we ask Mr. Adrian, because you're to join us, Mr. Johnson, I think he set you up perfectly.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, you just got to prove yourself. But it is good, as Patrick shared, that we have that notion that entities want to be good corporate citizens, and then there's a benefit that accrues to them, but it all has to be a tie-in to the image and what they're trying to project. Cocoa Fest, you can't go wrong with coconuts, man.
Absolutely. So at Proven Bank, we want to celebrate our artisans, our farmers, and our producers, right? Because we believe Cocoa Fest will provide us with the perfect opportunity to actually give back to our community, right? Again, this is a key calendar event for Cayman Islands, and so we're quite happy to participate in this. Right?
Indeed. Mr. Adrian, I like how Patrick talked, and referring to you and his friend, servants, I think he said. And as I listen to it, I see the setting of, what is Leicester called? The castle, Pinto Castle. There's the iron shore, and there's the water beyond. And we have to have a servant leadership approach. You guys keep the grounds great. You welcome the tourists and all of us as visitors with such a welcome reception. Before Renda comes in, I mean, what is it going to be like on Saturday?
Saturday is going to
Just
be...
kick that mic a little closer to you. Yeah, that kind of mic, but you got it, girl.
Yes, Saturday is going to be a family fun day setting. This is what, the 8th? Yeah, 8th.
Yeah.
Cocoa Fest. So it gets better and better every year. We have some new vendors this year. Everything, or most of the stuff we try to promote as coconuts. Some things made from coconut, such as fried fish, coconut oil, coconut bread, coconut drops, coconut, as much stuff as coconut as possible.
Everything coconut.
Right.
Let's go coconuts.
We even have coconut games. Okay, so I would like to highlight a few people that we might have there. We will have our coconut stand, of course, where we sell fresh coconuts. Cayman Scents, they will have coconut, lotions and soaps and, facial products. Gigi's Kitchen, fried fish, fried in coconut oil with conch fritters. Miss Elaine Barnes, she is popular for her conch fritters and conch stew.
But those will be coconut conch fritters, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Not ordinary conch fritters. It's got to be coconut conch fritters in coconut oil.
Yes. Okay, we also have a powder monkey, and they will have their gourmet coconut, marshmallows or treats. Yes. Okay, roast and fry. They'll have their turtle stew. So is Mr. Alvin. He normally comes with his Cayman style beef and turtle. So, a lot of these things will have coconut base products in them.
And this is it. I mean, when you look at a coconut, even as a child, if you're allowed to go in the yard, pick the coconut off the tree, hucks it, play with it, and do stuff, just interacting with it, you realize how involved, but how wonderful it is. Now, being a skilled master chef like it's Cornwall here,
I knew that was coming.
you can turn that into even more delectables. But good afternoon again. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And yes, Sterling, the coconut has played an integral role in our Caymanian society for many generations, and it was a staple of the Caymanian diet. Yeah. And it has certainly evolved and continues to evolve over the years as well. And I know we'll get into the details of some of those delicious treats that we get from the coconut. But Cocoa Fest is really a celebration of everything coconut, and the role that it has played traditionally, historically in our society. Yeah. And because the coconut is such a versatile fruit, it can be used for many purposes. Yeah. Food, baking, beauty products, arts and crafts, and many more. And another very important benefit of the coconut is its health properties. Coconut water contains a high content of electrolytes and is very good for hydration. I was reading just recently an article and it was saying that athletes now are starting to substitute or replace the sports drinks with coconut water, because coconut water is low in sugar and it has a lot and is very high in electrolytes. So that's a plus. And then when we talk about the coconut meat, again, scientific facts prove that it is very good for endurance. And ladies out there listening as well too, this applies to me as well. I hear that it is even good for weight loss. So that's definitely food for thought.
There you go.
I really like the part about health, not health benefits,
What?
but did you say beautification?
Yeah.
So if it's for a man, it wouldn't be like beautification. It would be something along the lines of handsome, but I don't know that word.
No, for men it would be more like a miracle in the work.
A miracle in the work. But I need to learn that secret on Saturday to see how I could.
Well, they do call it, it does now have the super fruit status. So,
wow.
miracles.
Yeah.
I
There we
mean,
go.
anything's possible, right?
It's versatile.
Very, very versatile, and again, in our, traditionally, the entire coconut was used. We used every part of the coconut. We used the milk, again, getting back to our desserts. I mean, what would a cassava cake be without coconut milk? I mean, you would not have a cassava cake, right?
Fish dinner with coconut milk.
And what about fish rundown and conch stew?
Guys,
drops.
I'm sorry, but if you hear my tummy growling, just understand it's because I'm already feeling like I'm there on Saturday. Wanting some of this food.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, again, as Miss Adriana was saying earlier as well, too, we're going to have a lot of vendors. This year we have like 45 to 50 vendors, okay? Every year the event grows and we get a lot more vendors. And again, all of these foods are going to be available there. You're going to also see demonstrations, various uses of the coconut. Some of our artisans, candles made out of wax and also being sitting in a coconut shell, that sort of thing. And then I just want now too, because I know and I'm cognizant of time and everything, I just want to give the audience the details and particulars, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we can do that, or we can do that after the break too, if you want. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just get right into it.
Ma'am.
So the event is on this Saturday, coming up 18th of February from 12 to 6 p.m. at, of course, Pedro St. James National Historic Site, also known as the birthplace of democracy for the Cayman Islands. Yes, it's located at Pedro Castle Road, Savannah. And the admission, folks, is only $10 for adults, $5 for children aged 6 and above, and children under the age of 6 are free. And we know that parking sometimes can be an issue, and over the years, the Cayman Baptist Church and the Borden family have been so generous to allow us to use their parking lots. Well,
yes.
the Savannah Newlands Playfield and then the parking lot in the back of the church. And we will also be using our shuttle to, shuttle patrons to and fro from the site on the day of. And for more information for the event, you can email admin@pedrostjames.ky or call 947-3329. And again, we just want to invite everyone to come out. I know for me personally, after the lockdown and all of the social distancing requirements, I was starved for socializing. I really, really was. And Cocoa Fest is one of the signature events for the Cayman Islands now when we think of the agriculture show and those things that are coming up as well. And it's an opportunity for us to get together, locals and tourist visitors alike, to socialize, to mix, mingle, and to have some good food, fun, and fellowship.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Saturday is a great day for it. So after the break, we can remind everybody how they can get tickets at the gate or otherwise. We can see Mr. Thompson applying, the beautification projects, So this is what, for those who are not on YouTube, go, you want to see the next phase of GQ. All right, let's focus on it. Stay tuned. We'll talk today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new boneless hot sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Ro Variety, centrally located in Tropical Plaza on Smith Road, carrying a wide range of household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, handbags, clothes, shoes, jewelry, and more, and more, and more. You can buy from the big box retailers or support local. The better deals come from shopping local. Ro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a new and second location in Governor's Square. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor's Square is open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And thanks for joining us. And thanks too for the opportunity to not just invite you, but if I might, and ask my guests to allow me to ensure that I'm being respectful. Not just invite and extend an invitation, but ask people to consciously make an effort. We take a lot for granted in our communities. When I say we, I'm including myself. I love to go to the beach, but when was the last time I was in the water?
Yes.
Right? When the last time you actually sat and enjoyed and had good fun? So, to the Hater Consumer Bank and over at Proven Bank, Ms. Linda Johnson, thank you for sponsoring, our Cocoa Fest. To Mr. Patrick for being a part of it, and more importantly, to bring on Miss Adrienne and Miss Brenda, so that we know what's going on on the thing. Before I ask them to remind us of the time and place and the cost, Mr. Johnson, from your perspective, there are many times corporate entities see the wonderfulness of partnering with something so that it brings the community. You talked about it, the corporate identity with the community spirit. Cocoa Fest, is it just about the coconut or is it about the fest?
Well, as we say, it's everything coconut, right? But I mean, it's indigenous, it's Caymanian, and so we really want to be a part of that as Proven Bank. It also gives us the opportunity to meet up with our own customers. We're going to be at the event, so we can actually re-engage with our customers. With the recent rebranding as well, it also gives us the opportunity to really tell them what's new, how we can do it differently, and how we can help them. And so basically we're inviting everyone, including our customers and everyone, to come out so we can help you to move with Proven.
Move with Proven. Well, hey, Patrick, be careful, man. You might. No, but and then as the tourism attraction board, and we look at all the different sites, but there is something spectacular and truly magnificent about the Pedro site. For me, it could be there's on the water, the taste of the salt there, but the lusciousness of the grounds themselves. And then in past events, but on the Cocoa Fest of the years, the vendors are there. There's the smell of the food. There's the flavor of the coconut. It's So, I don't know. There's a word that comes to mind, but people might not like that. But it is a beautiful setting.
It
is.
Indeed.
All right. Help us then, Mr. Adrian, Ms. Randall. For Saturday, it's a family event. The admission is what? And it's only 6 hours, right? 12 to 6?
That's correct. Admission, it's $10 for adults, $5 for children 6 to 12, and children under 12, it is for free.
Under 6.
Under 6, what I say, 12?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and for Saturday, adults, the age for adults start at 17 plus. No, it's not true.
I thought you were going to say, like, maybe some of us are still kids, so we could get in free.
Yeah. I would try that, but boy, I don't know. So I still stay with that age. But it's fun. It's a good way to come out and enjoy. And then the vendors are there so we can get the different samplings of food.
Of course.
Let me ask, because one friend had come and all the different ones. So bought, a little bit of tart here, a little bit of drop there, a little bit of everything. And came away with this basket of goodness. So how do you eat your way through the Cocoa Fest? Because, that's what I was thinking about all along.
How do you make it through?
Yeah, eat your way through it.
How do you eat your way through?
Come hungry, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, come hungry. That's an excellent answer. And listen, we shared earlier about the health properties of the coconut. So you could go right down the line, you eat, and you could actually not feel so guilty because you're actually eating a very healthy fruit. Because it is a fruit, although the name has nut in it, right?
Yeah. I provide a guided tour. I can be your chaperone. We'll go to each venue.
Yes, and the chaperones, they get to sample. They don't have to pay for their food. And that's the part that might entice you the most, right?
You see your family?
Just to add to that, while you might not have the regular tours being offered on that day, what you will find is that we're going to have the movie running in the theater.
Yeah.
We are trying to work on having that Bright Spot documentary, maybe even one running on Saturday for those who haven't ever seen it.
Yes.
Because we, over the past, 6-7 years, we've been showing
that's one with Timur and them,
exactly,
which is interesting.
So it's quite an interesting documentary, and if we can, we're going to try to do a 2:00 showing. I know we talked about it earlier, and we were thinking about just running the regular documentary 4 times that day. But if we could just get Bright Spot, that documentary on the coconuts on, we're working on that, and come expecting it, but there's a few things that we have to tweak just to make sure everything is ready for that. But we will have the theater open, and people can go in, watch a little 20 to 30 minute documentary, and then cool themselves down a little bit because the AC will be running in there. It's going to be hot out. So as you go through, make sure you wear clothes that you're not going to get too hot.
Be considerate to your skin, but then get some coconut oil and
exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. And in the courtyard, we always have lots of individuals in there. Well, not a whole lot, but you get your fried fish in there. So I don't know if you want to start with something really, light, and then move on up to your fried fish and fritters and that good stuff, and then get some marshmallows later on, and all that.
Save some room for the custard top cornbread.
And I heard they have coconut drinks over in the other areas that sell drinks that maybe we can't drink, but other people would like to drink. But lots of coconut drinks will be there on site as well. So there is a place for kids. Kids will have their play area. Adults could leave them and go do what they need to do, and it's just going to be fun all around for everybody. So if you haven't had fun for a long time, you have to come out to Cocoa Fest because it'll be fun.
And then our tickets are available at the gate, Ms. Randall?
Yes, they are. I
just want to add that we have 2 entry points. One will be through the gift shop, and the other will be the side gate next to the gift shop. So people in wheelchair and the strollers could go through more easy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Once you get to the courtyard, you'll have, heavy food. But what we're doing this year is also putting some heavy food in the courtyard. At the Great Lawn.
Okay.
To kind of mix it up a bit to get some more people to, the traffic to ease up from the courtyard area.
Yeah, what are you saying? If we had all the heavy food in the courtyard, maybe they'll never get to the Great Lawn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just have to put up. Yeah.
You got that one. See that? Yeah. See, strategic. Very strategic. I was just walking my way through thinking, get a little bit of conch here, a little bit of time, what do you eat first, and you know, by nightfall.
Yeah, we would have some people who would just come for the heavy food and just leave. But we split it into where, you know, some heavy food here and some on the Great Lawn.
All right. And we'll have even coconut ice cream as well.
Oh, yes.
So that's going to happen.
Some more vendors we want to
after
talk
the heavy
about.
food, after you chill out in the theater for a little bit and wake up, then you can go get your ice cream.
Coconut snow cone, coconut cotton candy if they have that. If there's such a thing. Okay, we'll also have Willie's fresh juice, fresh fruit and juices. But, you know, with their coconut juices also, body treats. They'll have natural skincare coconut products, jazzy cakes, coconut cakes and more. We also have Mali's Kitchen, who will also have a variety of coconut items also.
Wow.
And with the kids area, you know, you will have Shilpa's art. She does a face painting. We'll have the balloon lady doing balloons, bouncing castle. We have the 1, 2, 3 dunk. Yeah, so all of
those, the kids will bring a change of clothes then.
Exactly, right.
That's water.
Right.
And even just the kids at the heart,
Yeah. Well, yes, of course.
And that is fun. I mean, you know, get dunked there. Practice your sharp skills. All right, I know we've got a couple of minutes left, but it's a wonderful time, and today, you know, especially this time of year, Saturday is going to be a next day for families to come out.
Definitely.
So just show up. Parking will be there. There'll be the courtesy shuttle.
Yes.
All right. If I might, Ms. Renee, start with you. Any closing thoughts, then Ms. Adrian, and then of course I'll end with you, Patrick. But give Mr. Johnson final thoughts on.
Well, I just.
Sorry, we need to.
Yeah, you start first, and then Adrian.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't get an opportunity. Well, didn't mention about the activities. We do have some live entertainment on the day as well. Cayman Islands National Dance will be doing a performance. So will Pan and Rhythm Steel Band, and Miss Izzy will be there doing a performance for the children. And I also wanted to mention some of our other sponsors because without them, without all of you, this would not be possible. So A.L. Thompson's, Pepsi, Cell Distributors, Tourism Attraction Board, Crown Event Rentals, High Impact Media, Foster's, Rocky's Diamonds, Glamorous Hair, Custom Graphics, and Calabra Entertainment, which is Mr. Brett McLean. We just want to say a big shout out to all of you. Thank you very, very much. Cocoa Fest could not happen without your support. And my final spiel is to say to everyone, come out on Saturday. It's going to be an awesome day. We have a lot of food, a lot of activities, crafts and art. Visual Art Society is going to have a tent with about 6 to 8 vendors there as well, with their showcasing their artworks. There's going to be so much to do. There's going to be interaction. You're going to get to see people probably that you haven't seen for a while. So we just encourage you to come out, have a great time, and we look forward to seeing you.
If you wish to add anything, Ms. Adrian.
Yes, just to add for the DJ for the day or radio personality would be Matty Sloan. So you pronounce that? Matty Sloan from DMS Broadcasting.
Okay. Well, it's going to be fun on Saturday and to prove in Bank.
As main sponsors, we will have a booth, so we invite everyone to come over. So we can interact to get to know us a little bit better. So come and join us. We are happy and waiting just to meet with you and see you.
All right. Mr. Thompson, thanks very much, man.
Well. I must say, I think I've expressed it already, but we're so delighted that Proven Bank has come on board once more. Like I said, you don't really find lots of banks who are willing to sponsor and partner with different entities that are putting on local events, and we're truly thankful to them for that. And over the years, I've seen them have so many giveaways, so many different branded items for you to take away. Umbrellas, these mugs, cups, all kind of goodies are going to be there. So we know they're going to come out with a bang this time around, especially since the rebranding of the bank. Well, for sure, representing the Tourism Attraction Board here today, I want to say to those individuals who are visiting our islands, who will be here on Saturday, you want to come out to this event. this will make your vacation extra special. Yeah. You have to be there. If you want a true local experience, come and mingle with the people. Come and learn about something Caymanian, something traditional, something that's not in your neck of the woods, but it will be on display on Saturday. So be there or be square.
Thank you all.
You know, just last line, Sterling, you'll be nuts to miss this.
And he worked all day on that. I love the laughter part. I always appreciate it, man. And it's going to be a great day. Yes. You know, I think you guys really, really extend a warm invitation. And hopefully everybody will come out. The visitor and resident alike. If you got family visiting, this is a great time to bring them out. Mm-hmm. So thanks very much, Ms. Brenda. Very much appreciate it. All right. To our listeners, be on the part of our continuing program. Join the buzz in the morning for Talk Today. We'll start things off right after the news with the Honorable Education Minister. Some interesting things to share. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sunday